Hey, welcome to This Commerce Life, an unscripted podcast that focuses on the stories behind small and independent Canadian retail and Canadian CPG.
What we try and do is deliver or pull out the story of our guests and give them to you. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly of retail and CPG in Canada. We're filling a need because we think that retail is hard on the best of days, but it's also a wonderful, wonderful place to grow up and make your living.
We also think that the industry, nor the people that inadvertently find themselves in the industry, really understand the industry at all. They don't really understand what goes on behind the scenes.
So listen to us, Phil and Kenny. We'll unravel it for you. We'll give you the story. We'll give you the story behind the story.
It seems like,
Yeah.
No?
yeah, it was a long time ago.
So is the plan to include this with that what was recorded at the food execs?
No, this is
No.
just you, baby. Just
Oh,
you.
That
Yeah,
is
this
a lot
all
of
you.
man.
Just you.
Beautiful.
Nothing to do with the food execs, just all about you.
The food execs thing, I think they're circulating it to their members right now. And
Okay.
then when their members have had a chance to watch it, we'll release it onto the YouTube channel so everybody gets a chance to see it.
Okay.
So we're just waiting for them to kind of work their way through some members and kind of give them enough time. And then this is all you, man. It's just we'll put this out, like anytime that we get a retailer on, we usually put a retailer one out pretty quick because I think we have a CPG community, we've got retailers, we've got brands on here, but hearing from retailers is definitely a thing for the community for sure. So
Right.
yeah.
Get retailers to come on too, right?
Right.
Because there's always, it depends on what layers of people you have to go through if you're allowed to talk and, yada, 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 the usual stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty much an open book, so we're good.
That's what we figured. That's what we're hoping for. That's what we're hoping for. That you can have some trade secrets. You don't have to share everything.
Yeah,
Some stuff you're allowed to keep to yourself. It's all good.
It's a grocery business. There's no secrets in this business.
No, not really, are there?
No.
People don't understand it very well, but there's definitely no secrets.
No, that's true. That is true.
So that's what will get you to help us. Good luck. You can try to explain to the rest of us.
Yeah, right. Good luck with that.
So I guess really for the next, I don't know, like 45 minutes, an hour or whatever. Brian, it's your show. You can talk about whatever you want. Ideally, what we try to ask people is, sort of where you came from, how you ended up in retail, why you still stay in retail, especially grocery retail, because it is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
It's an interesting industry.
Yeah.
And then it's really whatever you want to talk to us about. So for those who are listening or going to listen, Brian Bradley is on from Stong's grocer in Vancouver. They're up to 3 stores now. One in the west side, one on the north shore, and one up in Squamish, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Squamish.
Yeah.
So again, next 45 an hour, light it up, buddy boy.
Right on. Okay. Well, I guess, lifelong grocer, it's in my blood. So here I am. And somebody say, why do you stick with it? I said, really, I don't know anything else. That's why. But so I actually grew up some people don't know this. A lot of people don't know this, but my father owned a couple IGA stores when I was a little kid. So that used to be our Sunday activity after whatever sports we were playing. In those days, of course, there was no Sunday shopping. The stores were still closed then, and I guess I'm dating myself a little bit there. But so Dad would be going into his store to sort of do the books for the week, and me and my brother would be ripping around on dollies and running across check stands and pretending we were working, facing shelves, but really we're probably destroying the place more than anything. So, that used to be part of a Sunday routine. So maybe that's what kind of got me into it. My dad got out of the business, retired early before I was, I was way too young to take it over or get involved in the business. But when I was in high school, back then, Safeway was, I think, if you were working at Safeway, I think I always joke with somebody the first day I went to the store to apply, it was all Corvettes and Camaros parked out in the parking lot. I said, these guys must get paid really good. And back in those days, they did. Started at Safeway in high school with, no plans of sticking around. I was just there to make a good buck so I could have a nice car like everybody else that was working in the store. And so I did. I was really lucky because I worked for some really good guys that, maybe they saw some potential, or maybe they were just desperate looking for somebody to stick around and take on more responsibility or a role. And, had some guys really pushing me and trying to mentor me along to stay in the business and move ahead in a career in management. So graduated from high school and took a year of Douglas College, and again, not sure what I was going to do. And all the while there's guys saying, hey, there's opportunity in this business, and made a decision to stay with it and jumped in with both feet. So within at the time it was called a store manager training program. I think I was 21 years old, and everyone else in the training program was, guys in their 30s with kids and families and everything else. And there's this snot-nosed young guy saying, oh yeah, this sounds like fun. Let's do this. It was, it was humbling, but fun all at the same time. And, met some great people along the way. And again, I was very fortunate to work with people that, supported me and mentored me along the way, and sort of began to rise through the ranks at an early age within Safeway. And, took me to a few different places, relocated to the Okanagan for 7 years, where I was an assistant manager at the Safeway in Vernon. We opened a new store there, and then got my first posting as a store manager at downtown Kelowna. It was an old store that was at the time it was on the books for, it was one of these what we call an at-risk store. So it wasn't making a lot of money. Sales were tough. Anyways, it was just, timing was good because, kind of the downtown core of Kelowna was, getting a little bit of a revitalization, and I guess we turned things around a little bit there, and that got me noticed. The next thing you know, I'm back down in Vancouver, and I'm running the biggest store in the province at Broadway and Commercial. So you go from, country lifestyle living in Vernon and Kelowna to right underneath the busiest SkyTrain station in the city. It was an adventure and a big eye opener.
My hood, buddy boy. That's my hood.
Yeah. So it was a busy place. I think at the time we had the highest customer count in the Safeway chain. Well, definitely in all of Canada. And I think there was a couple stores in Northern California that had a few more customers, but we were right up there in the entire network for
store
Safeway.
Was that busy. I didn't realize it was that busy. I didn't realize it was that busy a store.
Yeah, I mean, it's customer count. The difference is, you didn't get the $200-$300 buggy orders. You got everybody, buying 2 or 3 items. So putting through a ton of customers, not necessarily doing the most sales, but serving a lot of customers.
Little neighborhood shop, right?
Yeah, and a lot of daily shoppers, a lot of people that are in,
100%.
Not just multiple times a week, but even multiple times a day. So lots of foot traffic coming between the SkyTrain stations there and walking in the neighborhood, and of course, big parking lot there as well. So anyway, that was kind of what probably, put me on the map for my career, just because we had some good success there. And from there, went into, the corporate office and was a director of retail for BC. And then soon after went to Northern Alberta and took over as a district manager for Northern Alberta, and had that area of operation. And again, good timing on my part, because a bit of an oil boom going on, and that was the mid 2000s. So, I had a couple stores up in Fort McMurray as an example, where we couldn't, you couldn't hire anybody for starters, because they were making $30 an hour to sweep the floor out at all the plants and out in the oil patch. And but people there had lots of money, and didn't care, price didn't matter. If they could get groceries, they'd any time of day, whether it was good quality, whether it was on the shelf, or they had to pull it off the pallet themselves. They were spending money like there was no tomorrow. I mean, Tim Hortons would be lined up around the block. And anyway, so a lot of northern Alberta was like that at the time. So just, again, fortunate timing on my part. And I think I was there for just over 3 years, and then got to come back to Vancouver and took over the Vancouver area and for a number of years. And then I guess it was 2013 we got bought by Sobeys, and that kind of changed the whole Safeway the Safeway business in itself, where a lot of influence coming from Eastern Canada, and most of these guys that I was peers with or working with were obviously much closer to retirement than I was, and started to, after a year or two, started to drop off the map and were packaged off. And they were Sobeys was bringing their own people in, which made sense. And that's when an opportunity came up for me to jump to the independent side of the business, and wasn't really necessarily out there looking, but had a headhunter reach out a couple times, and I guess on the third time that they called me, I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll come have coffee with you and talk about it." And that was just over 7 years ago, and here I am today.
He put something in your coffee. Next thing you woke up,
Like it differently. Who knows,
like
right?
a Stong's chair. You didn't know.
Yeah.
So we
Was the North
got this hastily resignation note. I quit by.
just as I quit? Yeah,
Yeah. It was a little
pick up my check in 2 weeks.
little longer than that, but it was I was there for 31 years, so it was a big decision, and a obviously emotional and a tough thing to do, because over those years you meet a lot of great people and you work with so many great people, whether they be executives in the office or people at the store level. And that's where I was always my happiest, when I was out in the stores and chatting with people on the ground level that are the ones interacting with the customers every single day. And those are the people you miss. Is it's not the company necessarily, but it's the people in the company.
Right. The company's just a company, but the people make it, right? It's I mean, it's totally different, right? That's all you ever miss. I mean, the company's a company, but the people are just, you kind of miss them.
Yeah, some great people, and it's once in a while I'll run into some of those people that are still there today. We're out doing competitor visits, and as recently as Thanksgiving last weekend, I'm out checking what's going on at Safeway, and thinking I won't know anybody in this store anymore. And you get about six steps into the store and say, "Hey, Brian, how's it going?" "Oh, you're here now. Okay, yeah." So much for popping in for a quick visit and a little long conversation, but it's fun to run into the people you worked with, whether it was 10, 20 years ago, and we're all still in this business. So it's as I think
nobody leaves. That nobody leaves.
Nobody leaves.
Even when they leave, they don't leave.
That's true. That is so
right?
true. We see it all the time, right?
All the time. You can't get out. It's like this claws that just keep dragging you back in.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the time you went to Stong, did they already have the North Shore store, or was that not even open yet?
Yeah, no, it just opened.
Opened.
So it was a bit of a transitionary period for Stong's, and that what was a family-run business for many, many years took on a couple of private equity partners to help grow the business. Had to open the new store in North Van, and then a new store back in the Dunbar area. And new stores are a huge challenge, and to open two of them within a year for a small company, was a big challenge. And I think part of the reason they said, "Hey, maybe we need to bring somebody in from outside the company or the family to help us get through this and help grow the business in these two stores." Yeah, so
because that's got to be quite the transition too. Because Safeway, the old Safeway was probably very much like the old Shoppers, or I mean, to some degree, probably what London still is, what Save-On. So it's all, like you grew up with a lot of these people in the end. Like they become family, and they really do. It's bizarre, but it's that old school.
Yeah.
But it's a large school. Like you went from the big high school
Yeah.
to like, the Atco trailer.
Yeah. The little
Great people,
portable.
great school, but it's a
Yeah.
portable, right?
It's a
Because
little
you really
portable.
downsized in the store count, eh?
Absolutely. Absolutely huge. And
Great stores, love Stongs,
people
but
say, what are you doing? You're going, you got, 35, 40 stores you're taking
yes,
care of, and you're going to be you're going to be bored. Yeah. I mean, the big difference, obviously, like you said, you go into the small portable. Well, the portable doesn't have, all that support upstairs or down in
totally.
the main office down the hallway. There is no main office down the hallway.
You're
This
it.
is it. We're it. Right. So, decisions are made here, and it's obviously it's got its advantages, but there's some challenges that come with it. You don't have that support network where,
Right.
in the past you had, an issue, you need to talk to an expert on food safety or an expert on this. You pick up the phone and say, hey, this is the issue. Well, now you kind of become that expert, and I hear, and on the independent side, independent grocery, we call it interdependent, because I think there's a network of interdependent grocers that rely on each other. So you might be my competitor, might not compete directly, but it's not unusual to pick up the phone or shoot an email to somebody and say, hey, what are you doing about this? And especially, and I'm not even talking about COVID, but when that came on the scene and you don't have this corporate office support, it's like, holy man, what are we doing? What are we doing today differently than we were doing yesterday? And what are we doing different tomorrow than we're doing today? And, again, the advantage there is you can make that change in 2 stores overnight. It's just a matter of making the decision. What is that change going to look like? How are we going to do business differently tomorrow? But so you don't have that level of expertise or support network, but you've got a lot of long-term employees that know the grocery business, that you come with this built-in talent and understand what it's like to be independent and not follow corporate direction, and having somebody in another part of the country sending a memo on what you need to do. You're making those decisions on the ground level, and to me, that's a lot more fun.
We used to laugh about that because like I went from, being Johnson and Johnson, and then went to a startup that was like 6 people around a kitchen table.
Yeah.
And at J&J I had the reputation of just not following. I'm just not good at following rules, right? Like,
Yeah.
I did I did, like, the first kind of thing, you go, hey Phil, and you go, I'm sorry. Oh, did I do it? It was me. I'm sure it was me. It's
Yeah.
my fault, whatever, right? And then you
Yeah.
realize that you get to startup and there's no such thing, right? Because there are no rules, right? So
Right.
like,
Yeah.
there's nothing to break, right? You're literally like, oh, I think I'm making up the rule, and
Yeah.
if the rule isn't the right rule, we'll make another rule.
We'll
That
make another rule. We'll change it. Right. We'll change it.
yeah,
It was kind
Sounds
of funny
lovely.
because
That
one of
sounds
the
lovely and sounds easy, but that's a transition, eh?
it's a huge transition. I mean, and obviously, one of the questions that was posed to me when I was going through the selection process was, okay, you're coming from a corporate world. How are you going to come in here without making this a corporate feel? And I think that has always stuck with me. Every day I think about that question. I think, we're not getting corporate here, are we? And I don't think we have, but obviously you need to have some structure in place, and
Yes.
some, when you go from a family run business where, you can do whatever you want every day and you don't have to answer to anybody, to now you got partners in the business and you have to, explain certain things on where money's coming and going. And there's got to be some parameters there without making it that corporate feel. And I think, it's something I work hard at, and part of the advantage I had, or what served me well, is I have always enjoyed, as I said earlier, being at the store, being at the ground level, being at the grassroots, and what's going on in the business, and listening to the people, and making sure you take away that corporate feel, but you got to have some of that structure in place. It's always a good balance, a tough balancing act, and something that I think about all the time, for sure.
crazy. Are there? I mean, are there? I don't. I was gonna. I'll ask you, and then if you don't want to answer it, it's totally cool, because I don't want to put you in a weird place. I was curious whether there was anything that you really missed from, kind of your Safeway Sobeys days. Something that, like, for the most part, I think the three of us love, being indie and being small. But is there
Yeah.
anything you kind of miss from your old days?
Now we already talked about people, but aside from that, I would say, sometimes when you're with a big company, you've got that support there. You've got the resources that we don't have. So, I would say, yeah, probably miss the resources. But sometimes you'll get out, if I travel back east as an example, where somebody might not recognize the name Stong's or know, what kind of retailer we are. If you were on a business trip or there and you said to somebody, "Oh, I work at Safeway," you get this instant, "Oh, okay, big corporation, guy must know what he's doing." And now they don't know who you are. Or you've gone from is it the big fish in the small pond to the small fish in the big pond, right?
Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
But do I miss that? No, like it's just something you notice for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I guess, with songs, I mean, you guys you've got three stores. You've got these like pretty unique communities that you're serving. Have you, over the, particularly the pandemic, coming out of the pandemic, have you noticed differences in the way, kind of consumers behave in the store, or things that they're doing that, are kind of different from before?
I think you laugh about the grocery business. I think it's the old "what comes around goes around." It's always evolving, but always staying the same. Like the trends, I guess it's like fashion in a way. Leave it in your closet long enough, it'll come back in style. It's kind of like the grocery business. If you leave that the way it is for long enough, eventually someone will come back and think it's a good idea again.
Yeah, but, brand new, right? Yeah. 30 years ago.
Brand new 30 years ago. Yeah, exactly. We're lucky. We have obviously a very affluent customer base, and you like to say we're not impacted by the challenges of the economy and inflation, but everybody is. You do see people trading down, and you see people, certain items that maybe they used to pick up when they were in our store as a matter of convenience. They're still coming to the store, but maybe they're going to a discounter on the weekend to pick up the toilet paper or the laundry soap that they would buy from us in the past, that we simply can't compete on price with the discounters. And I would say spending habits have changed. There's more trips to the store with smaller baskets. I think that's pretty common in the industry, but we see it in our numbers every week. Lots of customers still coming, good customer count. Just getting them to spend more money in the store is a bit of a challenge on the number of items.
I guess it's just different baskets, right? And some of it, I guess, would be, I'm assuming anyway, the one trip a week, you spend $200, or it's now 3 trips a week. And even if it still amounts to the 200, obviously it's different 200 there was prior to this inflationary disaster.
Yeah.
But it's even, I assume the makeup's a little different. Like you guys have really expanded into like ready to eat, ready to serve sort of things. Like, and that's not necessarily less expensive to buy, a lot easier for sure.
Yeah. You definitely see that convenience option. And to your point, the days of, loading up the kids in the car and heading to the grocery store and loading up a buggy with a $200 or $300 order, I don't think, like, we certainly don't see that on a regular basis here. And I think that's the norm now, is more the norm than it was in the past, where, it's that one shop every week or every 2 weeks, a huge shop, and then the little fill-ins. Well, now it's, it's much more frequently, so multiple times through the week. And, buying for tonight and tomorrow may be idea. You definitely see that trend. And then, one that's sort of a recency bias here, I guess, would be, we just got through Thanksgiving, and you think about what we've seen with the major holidays of the year, whether it be Christmas or Easter or Thanksgiving, business is still very strong, but what people are buying is different. right? They're not the traditional turkey dinners are on the decline. You see, meat sales are still very strong, but you wouldn't sell standing rib roast before for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and now that's one of our biggest items. Like people are doing roasts instead of a turkey, or just they're still having bigger meals, but not the big turkey dinners like you used to see. Still sell lots, but not to the there was at one point in time I used to laugh to the butchers. I say, well, what do you need a butcher for this week? All you're doing is pricing turkeys. You're not cutting any meat. That's not the reality anymore. They're still selling all kind of fancy cuts of meat, or maybe a nice seafood dinner, whatever it might be, but it's not just fresh or frozen turkeys going out the door. It's a lot of different things as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because they always seem to have a shortage of turkeys, and you're wondering why they were so short. I mean,
well, and then this year, last year there was no big turkeys. This year they're all massive. There's
they were
lots of
huge.
big ones.
I bought mine the
huge.
2 days before, even which last couple years. I mean, if you waited we were doing ham at that point because there was,
Yeah.
there was really no turkeys, and there wasn't enough time to unfreeze or thaw it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Unless you were having Monday dinner, not Sunday for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's definitely, and maybe that's, maybe that's an influence of the immigration or the different, minorities we see now or celebrate differently. They still celebrate, but the traditional dinners are certainly seem to be changing for sure.
Just other people's
I think
dinners,
it's a
right?
social
Different
media
dinners than.
trend too.
Yeah. What's
Yeah,
that, Phil?
I think it's a social media trend because I think like when we went to the grocery, the kids kind of led a bit of an open revolt, right? I headed straight for the turkey, and all the kids were like, "Nope, nope, nope! Like, look at that thing. We're gonna be eating it for days, right?" And so, but the middle daughter she's a foodie, right? And so she was
Right.
like, "Dad, look at all these, like, look at social media, like it's full of things that you can make that are super fancy that don't have any turkey in them."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and so you kind of like, I think it's people being aware of what you know celebratory really means, and then being able to find like different things with it too, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, interesting. So we didn't have turkey this year.
And that,
Actually, two Thanksgiving dinners, Sunday and Monday, and neither had a turkey in it.
there you go.
Um,
And it's interesting you
yeah.
say that, because not for Thanksgiving, but last Christmas, we sat around, doing our post-holiday analysis and
Mhm.
talking about this. And I said, so let's go around the table. I think there was 7 of us in the room, and how many? I think out of the 7, 3 had a turkey dinner for Christmas. The other 4 had something different. Like they all celebrated Christmas, but didn't do the traditional turkey thing. And I think, to your point,
6 out of 7.
social media probably has an influence.
Yeah.
And I think, I also think during the pandemic, a lot of people rediscovered cooking. And I think there's more people, willing to experiment with different recipes in cooking that may not have cooked in the past. They, they knew this was turkey and this is what mom used to do. This is what I'm going to do. Well, that's changing.
And we'll be right back.
Kenny, I wanted to ask you about someone that you work with.
Huh?
You do a lot of work with La Grotta del Formaggio, the wholesaler.
Yeah.
It occurs to me that when I look at the catalog and the things that they have, they seem to do some pretty amazing products. They seem to have some pretty high-end olive oil, some really high-end pastas and olives and things like that. Do you mind sharing a little bit more about La Grotta del Formaggio Wholesale, or LGDF Wholesale?
lgdf.ca. Yeah, I mean, I think why I really like doing stuff with them, and why I like being part of it is mostly what you just said. It's what they carry. They carry a lot of cool stuff. They really do. They carry 3 different lines of really nice pastas. And the base would be Di Cecco, and for most people that would be the top. And then they have Garofalo, and then they have Rusticella, actually, and even Zucchini. And Rusticella and Zucchini are like in a that's a league unto their own.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just they level up big time. I think what's really cool about it, Phil, is that if you're a foodie, whether it's like you and I who like to fiddle fart around in the kitchen, or if you're a chef or that type of thing, La Grotta is really a great one-stop shop. tons of cool cheeses, tons of cool dry goods, like you had said, the pastas, the olive oils, coffee, some condiments, like just really nice stuff. For the most part, it's definitely for more of the discerning chef, home chef, true chef, or somebody who just really enjoys food. Like if you got a good appreciation for food, the brands and lines they carry are just really, really nice. Really nice.
So for chefs, you should come and check out La Grata because they do work with quite a few restaurants. So you
Oh,
can
yeah,
you can
lots
get
in the city.
some really, kind of great high-end products,
Yeah.
for the kitchen. If you are a retailer, you should be coming to La Grata because they can supply you with some pretty exclusive product that you probably won't be able to find
You won't
anywhere
be able to
else.
find a lot of the stuff from some of the other
Mhm.
distributors in town, and it will
Mhm.
set you apart. I mean, you can get a lot of relatively inexpensive product in the city, as you know,
Mhm.
like in any city.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of people that sort of park or specialize in um, some of the cooler stuff, we'll call it.
Okay.
Some of the little more premium stuff, and they really do have some really nice stuff. Really nice stuff.
And then finally, I think if you're a brand and you're trying to get into high-end retailers or chefs, food service, you should stop in lgdf.ca
Yeah,
and see if La Grata is the right fit for you to
yeah,
represent
totally,
you to head into those places.
totally. Yeah, totally, totally worth it.
Okay.
And now back to the podcast.
Maybe the hit too. Like, I mean, turkey's one, not that they're brutally expensive, but at the sizes this year, people, I mean, in inflation, I think, I mean, we had two things. We had the pandemic, which sucked.
Yeah.
And then this inflationary period wasn't any better. So, if anything, and I mean, what I noticed even in a few places I went, like a lot of the pork, like tenderloin was out,
Yeah.
you know, good meat, still great dinner, but definitively, maybe a third of the price of the bird, and then
Yeah.
loading up on other things again. And it's not because, I mean, it's not because the turkey itself, I think, is expensive. It just adds to a greater basket. And I
Sure.
think people are just trying to stretch it, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. They got to do the math though, because turkey. Then you got sandwiches for 3 days, and that's going to save you some dough right there. So.
I mean, in theory, it's a much better way
Wow.
to do it. Except I'm sick and tired. I didn't have breakfast this morning. I got home late just before I got on with you guys. Finished the turkey. Thank
There you
Christ. Enough of this fucking turkey. I'm
go.
so tired of turkey.
Yeah.
Every day we've had turkey since Sunday. That's enough
Yeah.
turkey.
Enough already. Enough.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We
Every
used to
day.
like
Yeah.
you use it. We use it in soup noodles. So the kids were
And all of that. I'm
literally
tired of
playing that
using
back.
turkey.
Like, Dad,
Yeah.
we get it, right? You're super creative, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's only
enough.
so many
Enough.
turkey sandwiches, turkey soup noodles, turkey this,
Yeah.
turkey that,
Let's move.
turkey
Let's move
crepes.
on. Let's
Like,
move
good
on.
Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get off the turkey
Yeah.
train, man.
Enough turkey train. That's right. Let's
Yeah, we
go.
just need smaller birds.
Yeah, there you go. Smaller turkeys. I mean, actually, it's funny you say it because you do see, like, the turkey roasts and the rolled turkey breasts and that kind of stuff that you
Nice
didn't
though,
sell
right?
before. You sell a ton of that stuff now, where it's just smaller portion
Yeah. Oh,
rather
less
than
stuff
the
to do,
big
less
bird.
bones, less fuss, less muss. Like turkey, I mean, it's not a complicated meal per se, but it seems to be a complicated meal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. There's a lot goes into it that really
Yeah.
shouldn't. Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
Um, but that, so how do you guys, how do you guys, how do you process that? And then how do you figure out what happens for Christmas now?
Well,
Because some of that stuff is like, okay, so turkey's not it.
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great
if it wasn't for Thanksgiving, it ain't going to be that big for Christmas. You
no,
wouldn't think, right?
no, and I think we
Or do you outthink yourself and go, oh shit, it isn't, but it is? Like,
Just double down on turkeys, baby. Double down.
double down, especially if the big ones are coming. Yeah, it's Thanksgiving's usually a pretty good indicator for Christmas, and this business, it shouldn't be that complicated. You look at what happened last year, what's going to happen this year, and the last 2 years or 3 years in a row, we've seen turkey sales at Christmas sort of on the decline, and I expect
Exactly.
it'll be the same this year. But there'll be a hell of a lot more roasts and other stuff that we're going to sell. So, you make it up in other places that quite honestly, maybe you actually make a better margin on than turkey, because if you're selling frozen turkeys, you're not making a whole lot of money on those. Fresh, you can make a little bit, but not the kind of gross you're going to pull on a nice prime rib roast or something,
For sure.
right? So
And like you guys both said, I think even then for the creativity, not for anything, but a bird's a bird. I mean, it's one of
yeah,
those, especially a turkey, like nobody's cutting it up and, slicing and dicing. It's roast turkey. It's the same thing. We
yeah,
stuff it. Everybody does the same sort of thing, at least with some of these other meats or proteins,
yeah,
or non-proteins. If you're not going to do a meat based, I mean, you've
yeah,
got some pretty
yeah.
cool options and ways to do it.
Yeah, they don't change much. I mean, if you start looking at flyers at Thanksgiving and Christmas, that turkey photo could be 25 years old and you wouldn't know the difference, because it's been the same photo on the front page of the flyer for the last 27 years. Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
What else can I share with you? I mean, you mentioned, the Squamish store is kind of a different, a new venture for
How
us.
is it received? How is it up there right now?
It's good. I won't tell you it's great. It's good. And I think part of it was getting our name out in the community and who are we, what are we all about. With Stong's in particular, if you grew up east of Boundary Road, you probably never heard of Stong's. If you grew up in the city of Vancouver on the North Shore, you've heard of Stong's and you know who we are. So part of going to a new community is getting the brand awareness out there and trying to get people in
Second
and
in Rupert.
show. Yeah, exactly. Show them what we're all about, who we are. And the summer was really good for us because a lot of tourists, a lot of foot traffic coming through, and it's a different destination for us because it's a downtown. It's right on the main drag, right on Cleveland Avenue, downtown Squamish. So you depend on a lot of walk-in traffic. But it's growing. People are getting to know who we are, and we're feeling good about the future up there for sure.
Just because I thought it was interesting too, because one, it's not a huge community.
Yeah.
There's a definitive community there, but a lot of it is flow through because obviously people are going to Whistler or to the coast. And not for anything, but the few of you guys that have gone up in the last year or two are sort of the last guys in a small town. It's a small town. It already has a few big stores, right? And it's one you're kind of always trying to figure out. You got to give your community a chance to get to know you, hopefully like your staff, like what you offer, because you guys at least offer some nicer things. It's a nicer shop.
Right.
It's a feel good shop. It is. It's a nice shop.
Yeah. And one of the things we've really tried to do is by connecting with the locals we carry so much local stuff in that store
awesome.
That's hyper local. So it's from Squamish, and the managers are out at the farmers market every weekend and meeting with these producers and growers and people that are launching new products and saying, hey, that's a great product. Why don't we have it on our shelves so we can help you sell it here? And people like that, and especially in that community, they're really embracing a business that's going to support other local businesses. So that's been it's been a key sort of initiative that we try and make sure we're following up there.
It's important. I mean, like in the city, you could even pull employees from all over the place.
Yeah.
In a community like that, it's highly unlikely you're bringing a kid from the North Shore in.
No.
You know what I mean? Like it's going to be a Squamish kid.
Yeah.
And Squamish parents. It's,
Yeah. So we're involved with all the, the minor sports and all the local festivals and anything happening in the downtown business association. We're definitely we're definitely in that. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great endeavor, and we're learning from it. It's a smaller store format that we said, hey, this is what we think will work, and so far it's resonating fairly well.
Smart move.
Yeah.
So is this because that's been only that's the first open in years. Is this something with, you don't have to tell us, I don't want location. I mean, if you want to tell us locations, you can, but is this like something we can anticipate other locations within, whether it's Greater Vancouver or Lower Mainland or extended out?
Yeah.
Or is this like slow and steady? Just
Yeah. I can, yeah, I mean, I can share with you. We're working on a similar offering right now in Surrey Center, so City Center,
Really?
yeah, this is breaking news. So you guys are, a couple of the first to hear this. So,
You sure you want this published?
yeah, we're putting
Careful.
we're putting the press release out any day now. So you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
you're
that's
good.
fantastic.
This will be out next Thursday. So.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go.
Okay.
The press
Wow,
release will
that's
be out by then.
exciting.
So the Lark Group has a big development called City Center right by Surrey
Yeah.
Memorial Hospital, and
Yeah.
I think there's eventually going to be 9 towers there. We're in the 4th tower. City Center 4. We're going to be in the basement, not the basement. We're going to be at ground level. It's a health and technology district. There's a Western
You
Community
guys are gonna
College
crush it.
campus there. There's UBC is opening a campus out there. Like it's major growth there, and the foot traffic in there will be unbelievable. So
Oh, I think you guys are you're the perfect. I mean, the only one I could think is your old IGA family would have been another one that could. I mean, there's
yeah,
probably the two of you that could attract that. Those people are going to love it.
yeah, we're very excited about this one. It's like, okay, well, Squamish was a good learning tool. What do we like? What can we get better on? And let's go. So, we're through the design phase now, and we're into the TI work will start in hopefully early in the new year, and we hope to be open by August next year.
25.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's really good.
Yeah, we're not messing
And how
around
big a
here.
store are we talking, Brian? Are we talking?
It's just under 5,000 square feet. So another small store.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome,
going to
though.
be a ton of foot traffic coming from the whole area. The other exciting thing we're doing there is there's going to be the main store, and then around the corner in the building on the next level is going to be a standalone floral shop. So, one of the things we've done at Stong's, we've built a really loyal following for our flower offering, and so good that we're opening a separate floral shop in North Van as well, right across the parking lot from our Northwood store.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
it's about a 3,000 square foot gift /floral / gardening center. So stems, we call it Stems by Stongs, and we're really excited about that one too. So yeah, there's
You know what? Not many good florists left in the city. I mean, I know it sounds bizarre for a city our size, but really,
it's
You know?
crazy, and the team we have in there just does an unbelievable job. I mean, they're at the auction 2 or 3 mornings a week buying the fresh product direct from the growers. It's in the store that afternoon, and they're putting together the most
Fantastic.
unbelievable arrangements and floral offering that you've ever seen. So yeah, we're really excited about that. And so by this time next year, we'll have our 3 core stores. We'll have our 4th grocery store. We'll have 2 separate Stems locations open, and continue to look for more. So, I think we'll look for small store opportunities. We also need to look for, the next full grocery store opportunity, and that's something the size that we have at our North Van store, or slightly smaller, but something in there.
Because I guess I'm walking 5,000 square feet mentally, right? And
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out like that. I mean, because this is going to be published after it. So, like, what's the focus going to be then? Because, like, you can't go you can't go real full tilt anything, but you don't have to be scrimping either. Do you know what I'm getting? Like,
Yeah.
you can't go. Are you going to go full tilt meat, or is it going to be more produce forward, or is it going to be more self-and-serve or to go, or whatever you call it?
A lot of deli food service. So a ton of grab and go, a ton of ready to eat.
Good for the university and for the nurses and doctors across the street. Okay.
Full serve sandwich bar, have all the regular deli offering, our in-store made salads, big focus on that. And then, I would say probably over indexing on fresh produce, that, there's nothing else around that's a fresh produce store. And I think that resonates with that type of clientele. Couple aisles of grocery, but not a full grocery offering. You're going to have, all the staples you need, but probably not the same. Well, obviously not the same selection we have in our 2 main stores here in North Van
really
and
matter,
Dunbar.
right?
But, as long as you got something, and I think it's all about the convenience when you think about, the doctors, the nurses, the professionals in all those buildings, you
Dude,
know,
it's
whether they're the students, whether they're coming in to pick up lunch, they're grabbing breakfast on the way in, or picking up stuff to take home for dinner, trying to make it easy on them. And you know, the
it's really
convenience.
cool.
Yeah, yeah,
I think that's really cool.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's going
Wow.
to be great. It's going to be great.
That's good. That
Yeah.
fast, coming quick.
Yeah. Well, you know, we've been at this for a few years now, and it's just time to go, right? Let's grow this machine.
Because, you know, that theme of big to small, like opening a new store when you're with a big guy, you kind of be part of like this ginormous machine, right? You maybe get pieces of it, but you'd never really get the whole thing. But you get I mean, it's
Oh,
cool shit, man, to open a store.
It,
Like, there's no other way to say it. It's cool shit to open a store.
it is a blast, man. It's right from the ground, literally from the ground up. Okay.
Yeah.
What's going to go here? What's going to go there? Do we want to do this? Do we want to try that? And being involved with every step along the way it's a blast. It's a blast.
So that's the picture. If I'm going to put out a picture, because I said it's cool shit to put out a new store, and all three of us were grinning like complete idiots.
Seriously,
right? It's almost like you got a new toy when you were a kid. Or
there's something about it, right? Because like when you got a clean palette, like and then you can test all the bullshit theories. We need to have all this stuff. You're thinking, that's horseshit. You don't need it. You can cut down, and nobody's going to care, right?
Yeah.
And you prove it right or wrong. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. That's half the fun too. It's just to see how it plays.
It's the concept. Let's see how it plays out, right? It's
fantastic.
It's the fun. It's one of the fun parts of the business for sure.
I think it's exciting. I love the fact. It's so much nicer to hear that than another Save-On, another Safeway, another Sobeys, another Loblaws. I mean, they're doing their thing and they've got it all figured out, but it's so much nicer when it's going to be rooted in the independent. And it's just, I don't know. Yeah. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
See something like just on the worrisome side, has staffing got better? Like, are we able to find people to work these days, or is that still?
It's funny. We had our quarterly review yesterday and looking at the staff turnover and numbers and whatnot. And I talked to my HR guy after. I said, "Are you sure those numbers are right?" Like, I thought you feel like there's lots of turnover, but man, it's something switched. Like, I want to say, I don't know, 9 months ago. And we have a lineup of people that want to come to work, and it's great. It's great. I mean, you're always going to have the churn at the bottom of the schedule, or students that come and go, and especially but we have a lot of long-term employees here that have been around for a while, and we opened both of these stores in 2016. So we're coming up where, there's a lot of people that have been here since day one. So they'll be at, celebrating their 10-year anniversary pretty quick here.
Good. I mean, again, because, I mean, we're in it and sometimes you wonder why you're still in it, but that's a different set of questions. But you do, it's a tough industry, and it's not the career that it was even 25, 30, 40 years ago, where, if you went in, you could do really well as a manager, and it was, I think, just a lot easier to run to some degree.
Yeah.
You had more people, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's tough to retain people. So if you can retain people in today's world, I think that's really, says a lot, I think, about the place they're working at more than anything. It's just,
I don't think any kid is going to school now saying, I want to graduate and go work in a grocery store and run a grocery store.
I don't think there's any of those.
You don't have that anymore. So you get people, you get good people, you got to keep them entertained, and you got to keep them involved in the business. Absolutely. And it's a lot easier when you're trying new stuff, and you're opening stores in Squamish, and you're opening a STEMS location, you're going to Surrey, and they're seeing that there's opportunity. And, I've always been a big believer in, promoting from within and developing your own people. And if we can open these stores and, the management team comes from within and everybody's promoted and there's opportunities for people, that keeps people interested and keeps them going. And it's good. It's just as good for us. Like, it's great as a company to be able to say, hey, there's going to be opportunity for you, down the road here. We're going to train and develop, and next thing you know, here you go. You're running a store. You're an assistant manager in one of our stores. So it's I think if you can create that energy, and growth certainly helps with that. But you got to create this environment where people want to stick around and see that there's opportunity. You know.
Wow, that's good. Well, I'm happy. That's 4 stores. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
I
really
think
good.
retailing is like golf. You hate the fucking game until you hit the one great shot, and then you're back
Erases
in
everything.
it.
And then
You
you're
know,
back for
yeah,
more
you can
punishment.
lose like a million balls, right? You hit the one great shot, and I feel like honestly, like I'm laughing because I can't shake that image of the three of us going. It's like getting
You
fresh ice,
scored. You
like when you
scored.
played hockey and then like
Yeah.
there was nobody out before you were able to go out and like
You're the
skate
first
yourself through.
blades.
You do like
Fresh
3
ice, first
laps and like
blades.
have to collapse from being out of
Yeah,
shape, but
yeah,
man,
yeah.
fresh ice, right?
Carving up the
It's
fresh
good.
ice. I love it. That's a great
Yeah.
analogy. I've never heard
Yeah.
the golf analogy. I might have to use that one. That's pretty good. That one
Yeah, no,
clean
no,
shot.
yeah. Use it.
Yeah. That
I was
one
thinking,
pure shot that keeps you coming back.
yeah, I
Start
think
when you're
so.
back on the PGA, right? You're thinking, this game is for me.
Yeah, this is easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right in
Stupid
the
game.
off the
right in
last
the
100
lumberyard.
balls I lost, right? So, but whatever.
That's right.
That's
That's
amazing.
right.
I love it. I love you guys are on the move. It's cool.
Nice. I'm happy about. I like that. It makes me happy inside. I like the fact that we're getting some growth outside of massive chains. It's good.
I appreciate that. And
It's good. It's needed.
it is needed, and it's exciting for the company and for our employees. You know.
And it's actually good for the consumers too, Brian, because I don't think what people really understand a lot of times is that you get put into a perception that's not necessarily true, aside from probably Costco.
Right.
Really, if you shop your independence and shop wisely, you'll do better than shopping large box. I hate to tell you, but it's true.
Yeah.
Typically, it's a little fresher. Typically, the variety and selection is a little nicer. You're going to get people that actually work in the store. It's not that the people in the other locations are bad. It's
Right.
just there's not enough of them, and it's a tough. If it's a tough job in groceries, it is. It's
Yeah.
even tougher when you're in a large footprint and not a lot of people because you
Yeah.
take the shit of consumers. Then, right? Not fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not fun.
I've seen it. I've seen it. You know, we've
Yeah,
all
well,
seen it.
exactly. We've all come from it, right? We all know it, but
Yeah.
that's why, like, I just think it's so important. If you can continue to grow, hire the local people, yeah, you can't go wrong, right? Can't go wrong, and to support the local vendor community.
Yeah.
Bring in
Yeah.
the cool stuff. Try something new.
I tell you, it's inspiring when you start to meet other independent grocers that, people that have taken chances
Yeah,
or put, mortgaged their house, literally, laid
yeah,
it all on the line to try and go for their own. But even, on the supplier side, and you see these young entrepreneurial people that launching a product, and they're so proud of their product. And I love talking to those people and hearing their story. Tell me your story. Like, how did you come up with this item, and
exactly.
how did you get from there to here? And
Yeah,
that's
you sound like
probably
a
one of the,
podcast. Easy there, right?
yeah.
We don't need competition.
It's one of the funnest things. One of the things I have the most fun doing is talking
That's
to
a
these
blast.
suppliers. And I always tell people, as well, how do I get my product with Stongs? This is, well, hey, this is not the corporate world. I'm not going to look for a listing fee. I'm not looking for, this, that, or the other thing. We usually ask for 2 or 3 things. Number one, I want to hear your story, and I want to be able to share your story. So let's put your picture on the shelf by your product and tell your story. Number 2, I want you, not a demo company. I want you in the store sampling your product and sharing your story with our customers and watching their eyes light up when this is your product. It's so fun, man. It's awesome when you see that. And we get to do that quite a bit because we're independent. We can do that. Let's go.
So much.
Yeah.
That's inspiring. It's awesome.
All good, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, thanks for doing this with us. I mean, I
Yeah.
really didn't anticipate you guys coming on, and Cam came on last week. He's like our recording guy. You came on. I mean, RF we've had before, and he's not that exciting anyway, so we've already had that.
Well, I don't know. You had some pretty big news with a new
Well,
store.
yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
at least you responded, or if never responds, you gotta stay. Bar is the bar. I can't help set it or reset it. That's RF's job.
Yeah, no, it's I love what you guys do, and I've been listening to
We
your
love what we do. We love what you do.
been listening to your podcast, and it was great to
I
meet you.
appreciate
The
it.
Food Execs Luncheon, and I thought that format was a great way to do it. Something different than what the regular what they always do. So that was a great thing to do, and my pleasure to have this follow-up conversation for sure.
Pleasure's ours. Like seriously, I mean, hey, we scoop, man. We got an inside track.
Oh yeah,
Gotta
you
the
got
rushes
the
going out.
breaking news. The breaking news.
Breaking. It's not even news yet. Nobody knows.
No, nobody knows it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's awesome.
That's right. Oh, that's very good.
Well, congrats to you and the team. That's
Thank you.
a big one. That's a big one.
Right
Big
on.
one. And thanks for coming on. That's it, man.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
You go
Thank
enjoy
you.
your evening and appreciate it. And Phil, you stick around. Brian,
Yep.
that was awesome.
All right, guys. Take
Thanks,
care.
Brian.
Much, man. Appreciate
Ciao.
it.
Have a
Ciao.
great night.
It's nice. 4 stores.
He's a nice guy.
Oh, he's a
What
very nice guy.
Yeah.
Be good, eh?
Yeah.
Nice to see the independence. I mean, with RF getting his new store out in Salmo, and then this one. I mean, it's nice to see that. There's a little wiggle room for these guys.
There's stuff going on, right? And you kind of go look like for this government that's trying to get another foreign grocer to come into this market. Pay attention, guys. Like, pay attention and look around. Like, you got guys like this who are doing cool things. Why are we not helping, right? Like, why aren't we helping more? Like, why, why don't you break up some of these big guys and then help these little guys grow a little bit bigger? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it's good. It's all part of it, right?
Yeah.
I know. I think it's it's all good.
Awesome.
It's all good. Awesome.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening.